Miracle of miracles, DW has lost her voice. Better late than ever, God. Arthur takes advantage of the moment by telling her off directly to her face. He dreams of a utopia in which DW never speaks again. A dream the brain says could become a reality.
It could be more than a few days, Arthur. People can inexplicably lose their vocal facility for months. Years even.
Don't you do that! Don't you give me false hope like that! Francine tells Arthur he's being too mean, which is like the pot calling the kettle a bitch. Arthur learns DW will be sick in bed for several days. His jubilee is short-lived, however, once his mom makes him DW's slave. Over the next 4 days, DW becomes an outright tyrant, forcing Arthur to fulfill her every request, while Mrs. Reed does jack shit. One afternoon, Arthur discovers DW has been faking her laryngitis the whole time.
Now you have to go to the hospital and get 600 stitches.
What a dick. Mrs. Reed somehow doesn't understand why DW would pretend to be sick when she gets to have everything she wants and has Arthur as her own personal bitch boy. Arthur tries to catch her in the act with a hidden camera.
I'm scared to close my eyes. I'm scared to open them. I'm gonna die out here.
Francine has no sympathy for Arthur, until she sees just how whipped he is by his baby sister. Francine decides to intervene, as Arthur is only allowed to be her cuck. Arthur and crew gaslight DW into thinking she's gone deaf, causing her to break her vow of silence. Mrs. Reed is now wise to DW's scheme, though once again, we never see her get punished. Arthur is relieved DW can talk again, until he realizes DW can talk again. And despite appearing at the start of the episode, Mr. Reed is nowhere to be found, because as soon as DW got sick, he probably left to go fuck Mr. Ratburn. The dude married an aardvark who's also a chef. Ratburn definitely has a type, or at least a cooking fetish. Let's review. DW exploited her illness to get everything she wanted. After she got better, she continued to scam her family out of house and home for a whole week. When Arthur caught on to her scheme, DW used her mother's blind trust to gaslight Arthur into being her own cuck berry. And even after her scheme was exposed, she went right back to torturing Arthur with her whiny, ear-bleeding voice. And if you think I'm being too mean to the voice actor for DW, just keep in mind that of the 8 kids who voiced DW, every single one of them were boys. Merry Christmas, and FUDW.
And I say, hey, what a wonderful kind of day. And I say, hey.
It's New Year's Eve, and DW is getting a head start on being a pain in the ass for next year. She begs her mom to let her stay up till midnight, because 4-year-olds definitely don't have a habit of staying up past their bedtime. Mrs. Reed says DW is too young to stay up, leading to the most bizarre fourth wall break in the show.
It's like I never get any older. What if I'm trapped in some kind of time warp and I'll never get any older? Is that my fault?
After several failed attempts, Arthur decides he doesn't want to stay up this year, which sets off all of DW's sus alarms. Arthur claims he's just too mature, which is a word DW doesn't know. Shocker. Arthur goes around town to find out the true meaning of New Year's. Who cares? Arthur comes home to find DW pinching herself and dumping ice cubes down her back. He reminds her she's too young to stay up, which DW takes as a personal challenge. The Reed parents leave Grandma Thora in charge for the night, so DW goes into full kiss-ass mode. She stays up past her bedtime, making several excuses to leave her room. Grandma Thora falls for DW's BS and allows her to stay up with Arthur. It's a minute to midnight, and Arthur is dead-ass asleep. DW and Grandma Thora celebrate the new year by watching an alarm clock go off. Is their TV broken? Who celebrates New Year's like this? Feeling ripped off, DW blows off her grandma and decides to go to bed, but not before gaslighting Arthur into thinking he's missed the best New Year's ever.
I saw New Year's and you didn't. Big explosions and giant mules jumping off cliffs into the ocean. Wow, it was fantastic!
What a dick. Grandma Thora assures Arthur the new year will be full of hopes and promises, like the hope that DW will be less annoying, and the promise that I'll keep making these videos as long as you keep watching them. Let's review. DW disobeyed her parents' wishes and decided to stay up till midnight just to spite her brother. To make herself stay awake, she made a complete ass of herself and manipulated her grandma to get what she wanted. When the New Year's celebration didn't live up to her expectations, she accused her grandma of ripping her off. And even after she got exactly what she wanted, she still had to rub it in Arthur's face. And the Reed parents didn't make it home till the next morning, because their New Year's party was just a cover story, and they actually spent the night having a threesome with Mr. Ratburn. Happy New Year, and FUDW.
And I say, hey, what a wonderful kind of day.
Might as well try re-recording it now that the wind has died down.
You get to